So, Tom Cruise has made it official. We are gonna be getting a Days of Thunder 2. I don't know what they're gonna call it yet, but my vote would be for Knights of Thunder. Now, with this news coming out at around the exact same time that Brad Pitt's F1 film came out, immediately speculations ran rampant across the internet of a potential crossover between Sonny Hayes and, what was Tom Cruise's name again in Days of Thunder? For some reason, I almost called him Don Trickle, and I don't know why I did that. But that's neither here, nor is it there. In fact, what we're going to be talking about today is the potential of a crossover film between F1 and Days of Thunder. As well, we're going to be talking about theories for how they can make it work, and a little bit of Chris Bumbray's pitch for what they could add to it to make it a little spicier. So buckle up and get your tinfoil hats on, because we are going to be figuring out the conspiracy of the F1 Days of Thunder 2 crossover. Let's pass it over to Chris and get into it.
I'm more afraid of being nothing than I am of being hurt.
F1 is turning out to be one of the summer's most unexpected success stories and a reminder of the appeal of classic, old-fashioned, high-concept cinema, reuniting the writer, director, producer, and even the composer of Top Gun Maverick. It's just as immersive and engaging as that film, even if it's missing one key ingredient: Tom Cruise.
I feel the need for speed.
Brad Pitt is superb in the lead role, but I certainly wasn't the only one watching F1 thinking that it felt almost exactly like a Tom Cruise movie, only without Cruise.
Bombs away.
In fact, Cruise himself has been openly advocating for people to see F1, showing up at the premiere and writing about how much he enjoyed it on social media.
Just want to manage expectations.
But it also seems to have lit a competitive fire inside of Cruise, who, after 35 years, has announced the sequel to his own racing movie, Days of Thunder.
You're very quick.
Gotta see me drive.
But what would it be like? Well, we're gonna tell you.
Hit the pace car! Hit the pace car!
Now, one thing worth noting is that Days of Thunder wasn't one of Tom Cruise's bigger hits, even if it's now considered something of a classic. Released in 1990, it was viewed as Cruise's follow-up to Top Gun, with it reuniting him with that movie's director, Tony Scott, as well as the producing team, Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer.
Are you spinning across the track? The rule is you go straight for them.
Yet, the shoot was infamously problematic, with it plagued with the excesses of producer Don Simpson, which were documented in shocking detail in the book High Concept. One famous story was that the late Don Simpson had a closet full of Donna Karan dresses on hand to give out to sexy women he saw at Daytona, who would come to private parties that were infamous in their excess.
Never been on a jet ski.
No, I haven't.
How many times are you gonna ask her? She's never been on a jet ski.
The movie's script was also problematic and was plagued by endless rewrites to the point that the budget hovered somewhere around $70 million. That's a big number for 1990. Indeed, the movie was a box office disappointment. It earned $82 million domestically, which was a solid number in that era. But 4 years earlier, Top Gun had made close to $100 million more than this for half the budget, so you do the math. That said, Days of Thunder did do well on VHS and cable, and seems to have gotten a second life, especially in the wake of Top Gun Maverick's success, which seems to have reinvigorated interest in Tom Cruise's deeper catalog, especially his legendary run with Paramount Pictures, where he always spent most of his career. Days of Thunder is often packaged with other, more successful Cruise movies like Top Gun and The Firm. Certainly a Days of Thunder sequel has potential, but to my way of thinking, there's one pivotal reason that Cruise wants to make it, beyond friendly competition with F1. You see, despite its mega budget and their access to the world of NASCAR, Tom Cruise was not allowed, for insurance reasons, to do most of his own driving, with him doubled by Greg Sacks. Now, Cruise did indeed learn how to drive NASCAR stock cars for the movie. He started with showroom stock cars and then progressed to Nissan 300ZX race cars, eventually moving on to full-size NASCAR stock cars. He did do some driving in the film, even crashing one due to the fact that he was reading lines that were taped to the windshield on cue cards.
God damn it, son of a bitch!
But during this era, Cruise didn't yet have the daredevil reputation he would later achieve. That really only began with the Mission Impossible movies. I imagine that if Days of Thunder 2 does get made, Cruise's main motivation will be to do as much of his own driving as possible. So if during NASCAR season you see Tom Cruise tooling around with his own car, well, you'll know that he's in deep prep on Days of Thunder 2. And hell, who knows? Maybe he'll even start his own racing team. You never know, this guy is committed.
This is it. This is what it's all about.
Just like Top Gun Maverick simulated what it would actually be like to fly a jet, in the way that the original film never really did, one has to imagine that a Days of Thunder sequel would do the same thing for NASCAR, as F1 has set the bar pretty high as far as Formula One goes, so who knows? Another possibility is that Days of Thunder and F1 could cross over. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt are famously pals, with them walking the red carpet together for the F1 premiere, and having co-starred famously in Interview with the Vampire. F1's Joseph Kosinski's openly discussed bringing the two franchises together, and it would make sense. At the end of F1, Pitt's Sonny Hayes, after winning the Grand Prix, leaves the world of F1 behind. The movie establishes that medically he's never been able to fully recover from the trauma of his terrible crash 30 years earlier, and the movie ends on a bittersweet note, with it clear that his medical problems are catching up with him and that he may not have all that much time left. The movie makes it clear that he's going to keep on racing until he dies, with him proficient at all types of driving, so who knows, maybe he hits NASCAR.
Damn it! Go! 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 Get him up quick!
Having Sonny Hayes go up against Colt Trickle, who could be established as one of the sport's greatest legends, would be an amazing hook for a sequel.
I thought you weren't gonna watch.
I lied.
And there's another thing that could make Days of Thunder a huge event. The movie is arguably most famous for the fact that it co-starred Nicole Kidman, and that her and Cruise married shortly after and became Hollywood's golden couple until their divorce in the early 2000s. For obvious reasons, their careers have never really intertwined in the years since. A lot was written about them in the tabloids, but the two have always spoke pretty highly of each other, and in recent years, they've praised each other as actors in the media all the time. So could you imagine how prestigious it would be if Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman actually reunited on screen more than 20 years after the divorce in a Days of Thunder sequel? Both have maintained a level of stardom that's really rare in this industry and are still super A-listers, and having her reprise her role as Cole's love interest would be a coup. Here's an even crazier route they can go. Her character is a neurosurgeon, and in F1 it's made clear that Sonny is suffering from very serious neurological issues that may one day kill him. Imagine he goes to her for treatment, and then him and Cruise not only have to go to war on the racetrack, but also for her affection. Heck, you could even have her and Cole's relationship mirror Cruise and Kidman's own and have them be divorced. I mean, a Days of Thunder sequel with a romantic subplot where Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt are jockeying for Nicole Kidman's affections would be hot. That would be a huge, huge thing. Plus, Robert Duvall, even though he's in his mid-90s, is still going and could reprise his role as Tom Cruise's trainer, and John C. Reilly, who had a small role in the movie, is still around too. This could have an all-star cast.
I knew it all along.
How's that?
Well, on that last stop, when I came in, Harry put on special tires.
Most importantly, though, Days of Thunder 2 will need a great director, and frankly, there's really only one person that could do it, and that's Joseph Kosinski. Give us Days of Thunder 2, directed by Kosinski, scored by Hans Zimmer, with his original Days of Thunder score being a masterpiece, and produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. Oh boy, it would be an event. In some ways, I'd almost like to see it more than another Top Gun movie, as Maverick was already pretty perfect. Give us a Days of Thunder 2 that totally reimagines the genre, and it could be another classic. Man, this needs to happen.
He's destroyed both my cars. He's destroyed both my cars.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.